We're starting with D minor chords in both hands. My left hand's doing a root position and my right hand is doing an inverted version with the D at the top. Down to the F chord with both hands, root position. Again F, G chord, D minor. Now, if any of this talk of root positions or inversions confuses you, take a look at my pop rock piano chords course. It goes into full detail about what an inverted chord is and what root position means, etc., and it's going to make it a lot easier for you in the future. Now, on to the introduction. The introduction sounds like this. I was inspired by the bass line of this song. When you hear the original version by Michael Jackson, it sounds like you definitely have this part. And then the bass line comes in with like, I know you can't see that because my angle is not wide enough, but you recognize that sound. So I took it and I placed it a little higher up on the piano to try and give it more of that creepy piano sound. And it looks and sounds like this. We're going to start with our second finger on D, and then we're going to jump a fourth down to A, and then up to the F. I want your fourth finger to be on F so that your fifth finger can easily play G. And then we still have our second finger down on D, and then we've got our A down here. Okay, so that whole riff right there is based on these four notes. A, D, F, G. And it looks like this. I'll go very slow. Again. One more time, slowly. Now at a normal tempo, it's going to sound like this. I want you to pause and practice that. If you nailed that in a matter of seconds, good for you, you can keep going, but most of the viewers are going to need to practice that. So pause it, practice, and then we're going to throw in the left hand. The left hand note is just a D, just half notes. Now the placement of that D is what's a little tricky because we're using what's called syncopation. Syncopation is when you emphasize the off beat. So the on beats would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That space in between those numbers, that's the off beat. So if I were to clap on the off beat, it would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what syncopation is, and this introduction relies heavily on it. So pay close attention to where the notes fit in with each other. I've got my right hand positioned where it needs to go, and you can even look at the sheet music and notice how the D is lined up with the very first note, so I know I'm going to play those together. But the second D is slightly after the right hand D. Okay, I'll do it very slowly so that you can see what I'm talking about. I got my left hand fifth finger on D, my right hand second finger on D. And I'm going to play them together. You see how that left hand just kind of trailed in right behind the right hand? I'm going to do it again. Then they're together for the next measure. Okay, that's the same riff that you repeat basically 4 times. So practice that for just a little bit, then meet me back here for section B. Okay, section B. You'll notice at the very beginning of each line, we have a flat on the B line. That's also true for the bass clef. This is what we call our key signature. This means that we're in the key of F. So 1 B flat means we're in the key of F. So if I were to play an F scale, it would contain a B flat. This means that every single B in this song is going to be flat. If you're very new to reading sheet music, then what I would do is I would take a highlighter, I'd find all the B's in this sheet music and give it a little highlight. It's okay, it's not cheating, you're still learning and your eyes are still getting used to this stuff. make your life easy, and highlight the B's so that you remember to make them flat, because there are quite a few of them in this song. So let's go over the chords in the left hand. The first chord is a G minor. It looks like this, starting with G, B flat, D. Then I hop down to D minor, and then I'm going to do another D minor, and I'm back to my G minor, back to my D minor, another D minor. Now here I come back up to my G position, but I am not going to play G minor, I'm going to play G major. In the sheet music, there's a little natural sign on the B. That means I'm not going to play it flat, I'm going to play it natural. I play another G major after that, then I go down to a D minor, then back up to my G major, and my G major again. Let's go over just that much of the section. So in the right hand, I'm starting on middle C. I want to have my one finger on C. Slowly, I'll go over that again. I'm starting on C, stepping up, step up, skip down, and step down. One more time at a normal pace. And in the left hand, I've got my G minor chord. So this seems a little cramped, and it is, but here's the deal. This happens a lot. So even though this is a little bit of a nuisance to people who are new to piano, it is something that you have to get used to, because sometimes you just have to do it. So no big deal, just take your time getting used to it, and I'll show you what I do to navigate this kind of situation. So first, my right hand is playing. So I'm going to let my left hand back off a little bit, but I am going to keep it nearby so that it's ready to pounce on that chord. So I've got my C. And you see how my left hand just kind of like moseyed its way in there? And then it just gets out of the way so that I can finish that phrase in the right hand. Now my left hand's going to get out of the way to go to D minor, and my right hand's going to keep playing a few Ds. And then it steps down to C, up to D, F, D, and I play a D minor again. So I'm going to do that whole phrase again from measure 7 to 9. Okay, moving on. I've got a little repeat of the first part of that phrase. G minor with the same phrasing in the right hand, same maneuver. Okay, so measure 7 through 9 is one phrase. And then I repeat it again to get through measures 10, 11, and 12. Then I'm going to start to do something different at measure 13. My one finger is going to come up to D, and in my left hand I'm going to be doing a G major. So I've got my D, skip up to F, skip up to A, step down to G, step it down to F, and skip it down to D. A little faster, and a little faster. Now on the left hand, if you'll look at the sheet music again, you'll notice that the G major is in line with the right hand G. So watch my hands as I do that. The next part continues with this right hand position staying the same. I've got a G and my left hand stays the same down here. I start with a G, I play my G in the left hand, step it down to E, and now I'm going to cross over to D. My left hand's got to move to D minor while my right hand plays F. Okay, I'm going to do that whole section again very slowly. The next part is almost exactly the same except for the end of the phrase. I'm just going to play it until it gets to the part where it's different. So I'm playing at measure 16, starting with the right hand. My left hand is on G major. Now, instead of crossing over to D in my right hand, I'm going to cross over to C. And I'm going to step up to D, and I'm going to step up to F. But at the same time that my right hand is doing F, I'm switching to a different chord, the B flat chord in the left hand, which is B flat, D, and F. And I do 2 of those. So before I go on to the next part, let me play through that whole line, measure 13 through 18, at a slow but consistent pace. Okay, so far we have learned section A, and I have gone over section B in bits. So please allow me to go through all of section B all the way through. So if you're looking at your sheet music, you're looking at measure 7, and I will end at the end of measure 18. Moving on to section C. Yay, you've made it this far. So hopefully you've practiced section A and section B, and you feel comfortable enough to move on to section C, which is the beginning of the chorus. Yay. So let's go over the chords first. In the left hand, we've got our B flat, which is what we left off with at the end of the last section. And then I'm stepping it down to A minor. And then I've got to go up to my D minor, and then an F chord. Another F chord, a G major, and a D minor. So those were the first 4 measures of section C. Let's just go over that again slowly with the right hand. I ended up in this position at the last section, so I'm going to have to pick up my hand and move my 3rd finger to F. That's what that looks like. So I've got these 3 notes, F, G, and A. So I've got F, G, F, A, F, G. And in the left hand, if you're looking at the sheet music, you'll notice that the chords are lined up with the notes in the right hand that are supposed to be played at the same time. Next, right hand has to move up from this position. 2nd finger has to land on A. A, C, A, inverted D minor chord, root position F, and then F, G, D minor. You recognize that from the introduction, right? The left hand is doing the same thing as we did at the beginning. So we start off with our A in the right hand, our left hand left off on A, okay, let's go over the right hand first this time. Step down, 4th down to D, skip up to F, skip down to D, skip up to F, step up to G, A, G, G, F, G. All together, that sounds like this. Okay, that whole phrase again, one more time. left hand, G minor chord. It's just the same thing for 8 solid beats. So in the right hand, it sounds like this. Okay, so this is another example of syncopation. I have a lot of notes happening in between the beats. Slowly, I'm going to go over that again 2 more times. So if you're having trouble with this, just pause it, try to copy, watch it a few more times, try to copy, and just keep trying until you get the hang of it. Also, remember what I said about looking at the sheet music. The notes that are supposed to play together are lined up. You can see how this note starts off by itself, then this one together, by itself, together, by itself, together, okay? And then you repeat yourself. Slight different there at the end. So let me do that again so that you can see it, and you'll also notice it, of course, in the sheet music. Left hand plays B flat. Move your right hand down to the F. Left hand has to move down to G sharp. Right hand moves up to G sharp here. C, inverted D minor chord with a little trill like this. Try it. Root note D in the left hand. I'm going to move my left hand up to the D minor chord and stay here for section D. Is that where I am now? I'm on the last section. So pause and work on that. And when you're ready, come back and meet me. Don't move forward unless you're absolutely ready. We're almost done with the song. Congratulations, guys. Practice, practice, practice. Welcome back, you guys. Hopefully you worked on those other sections and you're feeling pretty comfortable, because now we're going to go on to the final section of the song. And I have to say this section is a lot easier than it looks. When you're looking at the sheet music, you see a lot of eighth notes and 16th to dotted eighth notes and some ties, and it looks really scary, but it's not really. If you can just depend on your ear, you can figure out this. And the melody just really moves in a lot of steps, so that makes it easier. So let's go over the right hand first. In my right hand, I've got my inverted D minor chord. That's where we left off with in our last section, and it's also going to start our new section here. So I've got my D minor chord, and I immediately step down to C with this fourth finger. Step it down, step it down. And then we're going to go up, and oh, we finally have a skip, but I'm stepping down. So let's just take a real quick moment here and look at this. I want to show you a little sight reading tip. When you're looking at notes on the staff, if you can tell that it's stepping, meaning it's going from one space to the next line, all you have to do is go to the very next key on your keyboard. Now, in this situation right here, it's going from a line to another line. That means it's a skip. So it's literally skipping over a key on the keyboard. That's why I say this section is easier than most of them, because it's really just a bunch of steps and the occasional skip. So here's that right hand part again with my left hand D minor chord over here. Left hand goes to B flat, stays on B flat. Then I'm going to go up to C, D minor. So it's a really quick change. Here's what the beat sounds like in the left hand, starting at measure 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Again without my counting. So to finish off this section, we're just going to basically repeat that phrase again, except pay close attention to the way I end the phrase this time. So So again, it sounded like this. And it goes down this time, and we go to an inverted G chord in our left hand. Then I go to my B flat, hop my right hand up to F, A suspended in the left hand, A major in the left hand. And then we end with section A again. Our intro becomes our outro. So real quick, to do that ending, we do the same thing as we did in the introduction. But in that very last measure, I'm going to go, and I'm going to hop my right hand up, first finger to F, to G. That way it's easy to get to that D quickly. So it looks like this. I hope you had a great time learning this song, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And of course, if you know anybody who wants to learn this song for Halloween, please share it with them. And if you feel like you're ready to dive deeper and you want to learn more about chords, you can check out my Intro to Pop Rock Chords at the link below, and I would love to have you in there. Now, until November 1st, it's only $49, which is so cheap. It's cheaper than the price of a private piano lesson. You can sign up for that course at goplaypiano.com. Have a great day, you guys, and go play piano.